Good afternoon. This is still the House Appropriations Committee. It is Tuesday, February 25th, 2025, and it is a little bit after 3 o'clock. Sorry, I have texts are coming in from Adam. And we are going to start looking at the web report and just start going through. This is kind of markup. So as I think I said earlier, what I'd like to do by the end of this week is to have made one pass through the web report so that everybody says, you know, I'm ready or I'm not ready, whatever, and then we'll go make one pass through the language. So we all have a sense of where do I have questions? Where do I need to work on things? Whoops, we didn't assign that to anybody who's going to handle that. You know, just kind of get a sense of where we're going with that. This is new for many of you. I'll remind you what I said at budget adjustment. Nothing is decided until everything is decided. So even if we close something out, it's all a soft close until we get to the end. And, you know, because we may find out more information in the next couple of weeks. So there's no pressure on you to close something today. If you don't have the information, you know, that's fine. That's just fine. Jim has the first few, so he is going to be a role model for how he thinks about these.
I wouldn't call it a role model. I'm gonna tell you what.
One way of doing things.
So, you know, we've heard all the testimony in here, and we've probably by this point all met with our individual budget areas. So I have the agency of administration with the Secretary's office and Office of Racial Equity, and then a couple subcategories like their financial services, different departments, smaller departments that have testified instead of having their own finance person. Sometimes they have like Jason Bernard that was on during the Criminal Justice Council. He works in the agency of administration as part of the financial services. And then they have some self-insured insurance funds like the workers' compensation, which they administer, all other insurance, and then the general liability insurance. So, so starting with B100, as I went through that, it's pretty straightforward. There is one position. And it's not really a new position. It's a transfer of communications director that was previously in the governor's office, executive office. That's Rebecca Kelly, who is now under the agency of administration, and she is heading up communications for all areas of the administration and state government. And she is actually charged back to the internal service funds with HR. So everybody pays a piece of her salary. So looking at B100, you know, their general fund, if you look at it, is $2.5 million or 2.4 million. I'm sorry, that was last year. 1.7 million is down. And then the interdepartment transfers, which is another big part of it, is $1 million, and special funds 875. So B100, nothing was really flagged to me that was a concern. With no really new spending. There are a couple ins and outs with different line items, but the only thing I will flag is there is $850,000 for the clean water fund.
That's the grant. That's why the grant went up. Okay.
Right. That's the grant. And that was at the request and direction of the Clean Water Board to put that money here. Now, there was, I sort of recollect in another department conversation, and maybe it was
with Adam. It was with Adam. Yeah.
That they might be changing that. So
That's right.
Because of that, I wouldn't recommend closing this yet.
Right. Thank you. That's exactly when you said clean water. That I remember that too. It's 110 or 120,000 reduction in what that number is going to be.
Right.
It's not in here now. Is it in the 875?
It's in here. That's the $875,000 special funds for 850 of it is for clean water.
And because I wrote this down somewhere too, because of some formula or something changing, that
Number might change.
may go down.
Right.
So we can't close it because we don't know what that number is, and Adam said he would get us what that number was. I'm just making them. You do it however you want for your own web report, but I'm making little marks that show me whether it's open or closed.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
so that's the first one.
Right. So 100.1 is the Office of Racial Equity. There are no changes in positions here. There is not here, but in the B1100 section, there is two requests for one-time funding. One is to fund, and I don't know how you want to talk about the B.
When we get there, I think.
Okay, well, I'll wait on that, but the rest of the Office of Racial Equity is the same as it is now. No changes in positions. I think they have a in that office between the statistician. Whoever has a question.
Yeah, I'm just pointing something out. This was actually in 100 and FY 26 is being closed out, right? Because there was no FY.
Last year, they forgot to put it in, and so they gave
Was
it
that
one
what-
time.
Okay,
And this year, it's in the base.
okay.
So that's why there's nothing for last year, because it was in the B1100 section.
The Office of Racial Equity.
Yes. Last year, they forgot to do a couple of areas. And this was one of them. And so they ended up saying, oh, let's take some one-time money.
Those would help me, if I'm wrong, I recall that they and in the secretary office, and now they've broken it up into the whole subcategory.
That would be sensible. I think it's,
The Freedom and Reconciliation is the one-time ask, and it was last year.
Which it should be, because it's not a defined end date. But this actually, I think, wasn't even in
The
here.
LAOB was, I believe, the one that was zero.
Not in last year.
Mistakenly not funded.
You're right.
Yeah.
So I would hold the 100.1, I would give a tentative, okay to close.
That's right.
Okay, B 101 is, I mean, that's the financial services that we talked about, like Jason Picard's that, or Brenda Berry that, do work for different departments, bookkeeping and help with their budgeting and stuff. There are no changes in that section of the secretary's office, and I would recommend we close that off.
Okay. Everybody okay with that? Please. And that's the other thing, is if you have a question or you're not sure, you'd rather keep it open, please speak up.
Okay, same with B 102, that's the part of the office that manages the state's workers' compensation fund. It includes staff, but it also includes risk assessment work with actuaries to set the premiums for the various departments and agencies. This is the cost of managing the workers' compensation fund. It doesn't include the claims, which are spread throughout state government. As a premium.
And it went down.
Like the- Yeah,
So you're recommending? we
I
close it?
recommend we close that E 102.
Everybody good on that? Okay,
The same way with the B 103, which is the general liability insurance. I don't remember exactly why that went down, but It went down.
Looks like personal services is down. By about 150,000. 60,000. Or maybe that's person.
Oh, I know, it was this, it was, under the, it was under, there was a down of 171,000. Operating expenses for other contracted and third-party services. Which could have been, the actual area could have been, something else. I can get that for you if you'd like. I don't remember offhand. I remember flagging it, but I don't.
I'm not saying that anybody's died to hear.
But
thank you.
Yes, I would recommend closing that.
Okay.
And the same with, B104, which is insurance. So you have liability, you have workers' comp, and this is not health insurance, but it's money it's covered by the state. Things like cybersecurity insurance and stuff would be all other.
Okay, so we need to close that one? Yes.
Well, then that's.
Don't you have the, no, you have the pension.
No, I don't have the pension.
You do. Is that mine? Yeah, well, the pension
104.
plus 104.1, I think I still had it on the gym. You just see what I did. I got you through 104.1. I know you tried this. But it's not complicated.
It's the pension plus, that's part of the agreement that we had a couple of years ago. That there was an additional payment over. Very safe. You bring it that liability, so it's not really a negotiable.
No.
I think. Put it
And
in here, so if it's mine, I recommend we close it.
And just to let you know, last year it was actually 12 million, but it wasn't in the base. We found it and carry forward from other places that they had. Remember, we said, oh, yes, it's 12 million. We know next year it's gonna be 15 and we're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, and it eventually goes away, but
Right.
it's gonna be there for a while, so I will put it in the base.
Okay, so everybody understand that?
And it's helping.
And it's helping. It's working.
I'm not ready in digital service.
Okay, so digital services you want to leave open. And do we have several under that? No.
Just one.
Okay. And then we go to my nightclub.
Okay, I'm a little embarrassed to say this. I'm having trouble putting my hands on the notes for 106 and 107, which I have.
That's all right. We can come back.
Okay,
All right.
we could do that.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
We'll
just leave them on.
That number of times and
Let me find his notes again.
There weren't major things, and yet at the same time, I just feel better if I had
Absolutely.
specific notes.
And so we'll keep human resources open also?
Or you could
Okay,
ask
so-
Adam, they'll tell you it's the most perfect budget.
Human resources.
So I think,
Tom.
right?
Yes, you do.
I mean, I'm not ready to close anything, like,
Okay.
nothing that's standing out.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go through and meet with everybody again, now that I have a
Yep.
better understanding of the land. So, I mean, question I have though is, like, this is just for operating expenses, this isn't for things, I don't see ADS expenses or any of the software expenses, or are those included in
It's a
the,
base, like the service level agreement with ABS, that's gonna be in their operating expenses.
But if it's related to the ERP and it may be in the one-time section.
yeah.
So this is just their regular old budget.
Yeah. That's what I was hoping that was the answer.
Okay, so we'll leave them all open.
Yeah, so not, I mean, just generally speaking, 108, 108.1, 109.
Yep.
Those are all relatively straightforward.
But we'll just leave them open and let you do another round, which is, I don't expect we're gonna close a lot today, but I just, we wanna get started. So
No, if I
Yeah.
may, Rob, there are gonna be some areas that we all have that either that particular area had requested additional spending, or the policy committee had recommended changes, or others had recommended to the base. This would only be the base. So, if you have any of those and you want to have it considered, then we'll just hold on that and then see if we have anything left over.
Chair,
Yes.
when can we expect committee recommendations?
They are supposed to turn them in by tomorrow afternoon. So you should have them by Thursday morning.
All right.
And I know they're working on it. So, and that's another reason that we won't necessarily, some of these are obvious, like some of the ones Jim has done. The committees aren't going to talk about the workers' comp insurance or whatever. So as I said, that's why I'm not expecting we're going to close a lot, but it's good for us to all see where we are and how this is going to work. So. Okay. So we're at B110 libraries, and that's Lynn.
Yeah, I have that. I'm gonna just say I'm not prepared to give lots of details. I know I have some of them that have detail. Most of them have pretty standard personnel increases that we've
Yeah.
seen in everybody, and the others are very similar. The ABS and the other operating expenses are pretty much, I think libraries is like that. There is a $400,000 increase in personnel services. I want to look that up.
Okay, and yet the operating expenses went down by about $400,000. So their total budget is down $6,000.
Yeah, and it's pretty standard. It's pretty much.
Yeah, but you want to just
I'm not
check
gonna
it
close
again.
it, but I just
That's
want
fine. Excellent. Okay. So Mike, 111 is the tax budget,
Yes.
not the pilot and the rent rebate on the other thing. It's just their budget.
Just their budget. I didn't have anything.
Want to leave it open?
Can we leave this open?
Absolutely. Okay, Wayne, BGS administration.
And I haven't had time to go back, look at all my notes on everything.
Okay.
But just for the administration part, as I recall, the only change was the COLA,
Uh-huh.
and so. I didn't see any problem with that.
You okay with closing that one? Okay. There's plenty of others you may want to question. So we'll close for now, we'll close 112.
And the rest of it, I should probably check my notes before.
Okay,
Before closing.
that sounds fine. Okay, so that gets us through. Yes, there's a lot of. Items. Yeah, we do.
About the state surplus. We don't have to, I'm just saying it's pretty much even.
Right, a B119.
We went on again, Senate function. So let's look at that.
I don't think we spent any time talking about it because it went up $125.
Yeah, I think you better can close.
We can close that one, okay. B119, the one you brought up.
Budget.
It's not gonna break.
Federal, that was federal, sorry.
But we can. That was looking at.
Plus property. I mean, probably can close that one.
Yeah, great. If you learn anything when you check your notes, just let us know.
Something to learn and property management, I don't know if you look at my notes on that.
Yeah,
Leave the space, look at my notes on that.
yes. I want to find out about the criminal justice. Okay, and then we go back to Lynn.
Yes, executive office. I just want to go back and look at my notes, pretty much what is personnel and standard operating increases. I want to double check on, well, new positions or any changes in that.
Yeah, that actually would be good because if we move Rebecca Kelly from there to the Secretary of the Agency Administration, their numbers are still going up by 400,000, which seems like a lot when you, if it's just.
Yeah, I want to go back and.
Yeah. Okay.
Double check on.
Yes, they're each interdepartmental.
Some of their expenses, they just take part off the other part.
It went up quite a bit. 280,000, so that's something. I can't remember if they said they're starting to do that more this year than they have before or not. Maybe it's.
Sometimes there's an advantage, maybe not this year, but sometimes there's an advantage. You charge it off in different parkings. Expense is the expense, but sometimes it allows you to, that other department might be, partially federally funded. So it allows you to put some of the charges proportionally to the federal funding. Federal funding.
Well, then there's that. Tom, you have the 125 ledge count.
125, 26, again, the same idea, and 26.1. I imagine 127 and 128 as
Yeah.
well. Those are, I'm gonna keep them open up. I have a schedule of spot to review them. There's nothing,
Okay,
there's nothing that they testify to fairly clean.
yes, nothing left out at anybody that I remember.
Nobody was crying for asking for help, so.
No.
Isn't that what they said they really like?
And I said some of us,
Yeah.
yes, that one. The only thing I do know, and I don't know that, I don't think it would affect the joint fiscal committee budget, is that we are looking into whether we need to expand the authority of the joint fiscal committee, given the vagaries of Washington for the next few years, and allow things to happen off session without calling everybody back.
So joint fiscal committees that have in the joint fiscal office. in
Yes.
This budget.
Yeah, the joint fiscal committee, yes.
But
I don't know why we have
it's,
Why would it cost $3 million?
Yeah.
It's paid very well session.
Yeah.
It is.
Clearly.
It is, the joint fiscal office reports to the joint fiscal committee. So,
Which is separate from the.
Yes,
board.
it's sort of.
Maria's like.
Sort of confusing. It's confusingly labeled.
It absolutely is.
the director of the joint fiscal office reports directly to fiscal committee, and obviously everyone else reports to that.
So we were here, but not on the joint fiscal committee when Steve Klein retired. And did the joint fiscal committee actually hire Catherine? Did they do an interview for that? Yes.
Yeah.
So that would be a role that
Right.
we would have outside of it. Okay. So we'll leave all those things open.
Yeah, they're likely to be closed.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Lynn, Lieutenant Governor, B 129.
The biggest change is that the personnel services, they have, they don't need health insurance. So that's one of the reasons it's gone down. Although they have had all the.
Went up.
So went up.
I'm sorry.
I think that previously there were people that didn't need help.
No, they had insurance previously. And this time they don't need, the previous lieutenant governor did have, it needed health insurance.
Okay.
This one doesn't. But that's the biggest change. Everything else is sort of standard. But let me look into that.
Okay.
Because there is a little bit of extra money in there, but it's, I can't remember exactly where it's from, but it's a little bit of extra money, so.
Okay, I'll leave that open.
let me check.
Mike, you have the auditor of accounts. I think that was pretty
Very straightforward.
Right.
Yes, well
Yeah.
audited.
So, and they didn't ask for anything new. It was just all their usual stuff. So what do you
Yeah,
recommend?
I'd be good.
We're gonna closing that one for now. Okay, great. You want 30? Then we're back to Lynn.
In the state treasurer, there are some things that I want to talk about. I want to check on that. They've got positions. They've been asking for positions every year that I've been doing this. And they have language and a lot of funds that they have to monitor, things that are statutorily required of them, and I want to go over those. You know, 250,000 here, 500,000 there, another 230. I mean, it's like all sorts of stuff. So
Okay,
I want to double check on that. I think the unclaimed property, 132, is pretty much straightforward. I think you could probably close that.
Okay.
They did ask for a new position in that one because they want to go, maybe it's a couple of positions in that one. This is
In the retirement system?
in the unclaimed property,
Property?
But that's
most
not
of
in
which
here, right? That's not in these.
would be, yeah, would be in here, because what they do is they would be paid for by the unclaimed property fund. It's not general funds.
I understand that, but are they in here? Or are they, was those the requests? He had a bunch of requests over and
Yeah.
above the governor's recommend.
Yes, and well, maybe I'd have to check on that. Yes.
So maybe we want to leave that
Well,
open.
leave that open. The issue is that, yes, that was, but they were gonna be paid by the unclaimed properties fund because they're looking to take care of fraud and it was also to try to just be more efficient, but they have a purpose of also looking at fraud.
Right.
But there's other positions in the treasurer. I think that was the only one in unclaimed property.
Okay, but we'll, yeah, you want to check that and see about a recommendation, and we would need language for that, even though it's not general fund, so that's
Yeah.
good news, but we would need language
Okay,
again.
we knew that. And then the same, I'm not gonna, for most of the retirement system, there is a little bit of an up in the operating expenses. A lot of that is often consultants, actuaries, people like that. But I would want to double check on that.
Okay,
And then the municipal, same with the municipal retirement system. They have the same kind of issue as does the pension investment commission.
right, and there they asked for, they have a serious compensation deficit there, and they'd ask for some money, and that would come out of the fees, so again,
Yeah,
that's general fund, but we need to.
Come out of their corpus of their
Right.
funds and all of the things that go into it, but yeah. they
Right,
asked.
so you want to take a
I
look?
want to check on the positions.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And then we're back to Mike Nigro. I
I'm sorry,
think we
where are we?
come in the
Labor.
B 135, Labor
Okay.
Relations Board and VOSHA Review Board.
If I could leave labor relations open, VOSHA is very straightforward, salary and benefits
Okay.
increase.
Both of them
No, I just have something to follow up on.
on labor relations? Okay, but you're-
VOSHA, we could,
We can close
yeah, we
VOSHA.
can.
Okay.
close it.
Ethics Commission, I think we have some, yes.
Just a question, can I go back, Lynn?
Yes,
One of the things about the treasurer,
yes.
the climate super fund,
What?
I know working with ANR, they have some concerns about whether they have resources to move that forward. And I know the treasurer has concerns
About the,
about resources to support that work.
well, they have a clean superfund
That's it.
language.
That's
Is
it.
that the one about the
Well, there's
oil?
language, but there are also money attached to that.
Yes, there was 500,000 for that.
It was 500 for ANR, 700
It's not in the
treasurer.
governor's recommend.
It's not on the governor's recommend,
Exactly.
and I believe
point.
it's 500 in the treasurer's office. And it will be a very expensive thing to do. This is to go and do.
Well, I was just flagging it if you had.
Yeah.
So why don't
Bring it
you
up.
guys talk about it and then you
Yeah.
can tell us what you're going to recommend.
But that's one of the things I'd like.
It sounds like that's, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Ethics Commission, I think we need to leave open for the moment.
She was requesting 2 FTEs, the governor's command.
She also, did you get a copy of the email she sent me? Did I forward it to you?
I didn't see one.
She sent me something over the weekend. There's that to you. We need to leave that one open. Okay,
That's right, she went.
um, okay, go back to Mike. Oh, yeah. 130, 137. Sometimes it doesn't, the paging doesn't always work, so 137 is at the very bottom, but the actual stuff is on the next page. And this one's pretty standard.
You don't have the same.
No, 137 committee.
Anyway, well, Maria printed it for us yesterday and we was struggling.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
I think
So just on St. Patrick's Day.
it's their standard.
Leadership has better eyesight.
Okay, so Mike, we can close the homeowner
Yes.
rebate?
Yep.
Okay,
Actually, the next several are just standard.
right, renter
Renter
rebate, reappraisal and listing payments. Municipal current use. The, I think on the pilot,
So I think the primary change of the pilot's just in the Montpelier line with the.
yeah, but there's also some questions about how the fund is gonna be used, but maybe that isn't. I'm sort of feeling like we need to leave 142 and 143 open for the moment. 143 is a big change. 140 closed off. 38, 39, 40. But I'd leave 142 and 143 open. Because I think there's some other stuff that might be going on. Ways and means, I'm just not sure. Yeah. But then the correctional facilities is kind of the standard. So what's that? Okay. Look at that, we got through all the 100s. We're closing 144. So let's just go, I'm gonna say that we'll stop a little bit before 4 and be done for the day. So we can plan. Trevor,
Yeah, most of this is gonna stay
Oh, yeah.
open.
yeah,
They've all got asks
okay,
and issues or language or whatever.
right,
The only thing I would, as you work your way through this, the only one I can see that you can close right now would be, what's the bottom here? Where is it? Oh, 206, B206,
okay. The special investigation.
Special Investigative Unit, there's no
Okay.
changes there, other than your standard stuff.
They're fine, okay.
One of their position aspects.
All the other places, yeah.
Yeah. 36 of them, or 32, I've lost count.
No, it's down to 10 now, I think. Oh, I fixed that higher than that.
Okay, I don't know, I think I got it in there. What about crime victims advocates?
No, I would keep that open
Keep that
because
open?
there's a request for more folks there.
Okay. Same with the sheriff?
Same thing there, that's the transport deputy issue around remote vehicles, you'll see.
Okay,
I mean, that's the major outstanding issue.
yeah. Is the next one you, we got
Yeah.
208?
I saw this morning. I know we're not closing.
Yeah. Okay, and same with state police and criminal justice services and emergency management. leave
Yeah,
them
I mean,
all.
I'll
You'll go through
go through them. I
yeah.
mean, some of the smaller, simpler ones, yeah. But I'll be able.
Yeah. Okay,
Criminal Justice Services, we heard from them today. Their budget, this seems larger than where it's been this morning, but does this amount to all of the training they do as well? Does this include all of the training?
This is within public safety. This is, they have obviously different wings. Like emergency management, state police, criminal justice services are all the record checks.
Okay, that's
It's sort of like, it really is a support service for other law enforcement activities.
That's not who we heard from this morning.
That was the criminal justice council. Not even, not in public safety at all. That's where they do the police training.
Okay. But also standards,
Yes,
also like what we heard about from the Board of Education, right? They're setting certain standards
yeah,
for
no,
operations.
they're responsible for training, repair and partial policing, for example. And their board, which we didn't talk about this morning, their board has responsibilities for certification. If you remember, Last year, the year before, they removed the certification of sheriff up in Grant County. And they had another one recently too, I think, but that's the full board that does that. All right, similar name, yeah.
Okay. So we'll leave that, the forensic lab, we'll leave that, all those open. Okay. And next we're at B215, which is military, right?
Military, probably should leave it open, but, I don't really have much positive to say, but I should look at it.
All right. Good, everybody knows what they need to review, so we'll just leave all the military open. And then we're back to Trevor.
We just heard from them.
We just heard from them, I think we'll leave
keep
that open.
Yeah.
And the Criminal Justice Council, we're leaving that open.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're back to Tom.
And nothing in their basic stuff was, difficult in any of the, in other 222, 223, 224, 225, but I want to leave them open until I go through them again. Because there's clean markets, there's clean water, I just need to make sure that what we're hitting is right. And, the other piece that I don't know where it fits in here are things like the grants that they give out, like the working lands grants and things like that, that are, we just want
Right.
clarification on what this actually says.
Right. And if you have any questions about where things are, you can ask Maria, because she is the queen of the web report. She will know where everything is, and I should get you a tiara. So if you want to know where working lands or any of those kinds of things, and that holds true for everybody, if you have questions about any of these numbers, Maria has answers. Okay, so we'll leave ag open. And now we're back to DFR.
These are all very straightforward.
Yeah.
And I think we could close them. The only one that looks a little different is financial regulation, but it's just filling some positions that had been created the previous year, so everything should be good.
Right, okay, so we'll close 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Okay. And they give us money. And when your floor report can include that.
I told them they're a popular part of the.
Yes,
our discussion.
I always like learning about them, but I had it, because I had them for my floor report.
It's amazing to realize Vermont is captive insurance.
Yeah.
Of the world. Used to be Bermuda.
The world.
How did that
Yeah, oh, yeah.
First thing, second, we got.
Oh.
You know, it's like Delaware with, you know, corporate taxes, they made it very attractive, so. Imported there. Did it many years ago.
Yeah.
It has been from all the occasions, they win-win.
It moves at the speed of business. They work at the speed of business, is the motto.
Yeah.
That's right.
We should make the headquarters in some extremely rural place so they can help
Yeah.
fund.
Yeah.
They would, yeah.
Every 2 years, they can move to
Yeah.
another part of
Yeah.
Vermont.
They would get
Start in Turk and then we'll go.
I want John, at least one time, list off all of his towns.
Yes,
can do it, it's not a problem.
all right. You down?
Give them a homework assignment.
We'll find somebody else.
I
to
am John
introduce.
from Berkeley, I represent.
Yeah. You have to do it once.
I'll do it once.
Okay.
We want you to do it
Whoever's up
in
first.
reverse order.
Well, we have the Attorney General,
I'll do it.
the Attorney General's office is coming tomorrow, so we'll do it for that. Mike, you've got the Secretary of State.
Yep, and, there's discussions.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
They had a few additional.
They did. Lots of people did. Okay, now we're back. John, you get a turn now. Service B233.
Yes, I have not caught up to Brittany Wilson yet, but I
Okay.
wanted just to double check with
Okay.
her, but
Yeah, we'll
it's
leave it
pretty
open.
straightforward. She's been in the deputy position for 3 weeks, I think she said.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Bill, so that's there, and then there was clean heat positions, all vacant and not budgeted. So quite,
Okay, right. So we'll leave that open.
just do that for right now till I catch up with Miss Brittany. And
Broadband,
the broadband, that seemed to be pretty straightforward, really happy here. They've drawn down what they've received and granted so far for the federal monies.
and that's why,
It looked like it.
Yeah.
but that's all the federal grant
That's
money
all-
that they're
that's all
doing, right?
will be money and all
Right.
that good stuff.
Okay, so are you comfortable closing it for now?
I'm okay with closing
Okay,
it for now.
everybody
I
seems
did
okay with
follow
that?
up with Christina.
Okay, great.
To testify, so.
I guess the only thing, and maybe it's not from here, Trevor, I'm thinking about the corrections.
Yeah, and I did.
That's a larger conversation.
Okay.
It's another conversation. We talked a little bit about that. There's an application for grants that are available through the money.
Yeah, John and I have been talking,
Okay.
and we've been talking, I've been talking about the stakeholders too. So
Okay.
we're working through that.
All right, so we'll leave it closed for the moment. If we need to change it, we'll change it. Okay. And then the Public Utility Commission.
Seemed to be pretty straightforward to me,
Yeah.
at least.
They actually went down.
That's right.
That basically.
There's a couple of things.
Public service.
Well, they finished their, they finished
Oh,
their,
they had to do that
They
big,
did the
right,
study.
right.
that's right, they did study.
Did they have any other acts over and above with the governor?
Just looking real quickly here. The one thing they're looking to do is to increase some fees on net metering registrations.
Yeah.
They were charging $100 for one type and then any modifications.
Oh, that's right. Let's leave
So
that
we
open
should
because
leave
we're
that
also
for
going to
right
hear
now.
from the committee of jurisdiction, so that would be
Right.
probably a good
So we'll
idea.
hear something from them about that.
Yeah. Okay. We'll leave that open. And we'll see what the committee also says about broadband, but it may just be a simple, we'll get that. E911?
Yeah, that E911 is straightforward, grades, they had some increases for. They have to pay in the contract with the PSAS, which are the regional call centers. There is a $300,000 increase that comes out of Universal Service Fund for future upgrades on the software. It's probably 5 years, they have to renew or upgrade their software to the 911 system. So I would recommend closing off unless
Okay.
people have questions, but
Okay,
it was pretty straightforward.
okay. And I think again, that's a digital, energy and digital may have, I mean, they'll
They
report
may-
it. As long as they don't have anything different, then
Right.
we're all set.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, that one's covered.
Could be. Well, we haven't heard from them.
Yeah.
We haven't heard from anybody yet. Okay. Human Rights Commission, we're gonna leave open. Yeah.
And that wider. for now.
Okay. Liquor and lottery, Jim?
Let's leave that open.
Okay. And
Line item for the.
for what?
Line item for Mark and that.
Oh, we don't.
Another joke, hooray.
I understand the deputy commissioner stepped up today and did the board out.
All right. Good. Did you listen to it? Did you go back and listen to it on the live stream? She might upstage you, she's pretty good. She's pretty good.
Okay.
Shea Waters Evans. Who will brook no nonsense.
I also have a special communications assistant that's.
Oh, yeah? You're gonna share his-
Reporter.
Oh, who's now with AGC? DGC? Okay,
He's actually looking forward to it because.
this is where the fun is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Mike, we're back to you with Cannabis Control
We'll leave that
Board.
open for now.
Yes, do they have some requests too?
Well, I
Or do
mean,
there's also a bill or something.
I mean, they're gonna have I think the bigger issues for them will be the next budget year, because they don't have ongoing budget
Right.
plans. But-
That's right.
Right,
But yes,
that technically, I don't think that won't affect this year.
right,
But
But we
long
will.
range, that is
Yeah.
something needs to be.
right. And I've talked to the chair of Ways and Means about the fact that we have to look at that.
Yeah.
Whole thing.
Yeah.
Good. She's well aware of it. All right, so look at that. We got through the 200s. We'll just go for a little bit on human services and then we'll stop. Because this is a big one anyway, so it's good to break it up. And I know we'll have a bunch of these in here. This is probably gonna be the whole last section that we're gonna close, right? So I'm guessing, Lynn, that you don't.
I have to talk to Richard Donahue about some of the more details, when we got the original thing, which was, I think, one of the first things we got way back when. It was mostly normal personal services that went up with their benefits and salaries and it's also the same with their regular increases in ADS and other, interdepartmental type of things. But, I'm not gonna do anything with any of this. 300, 301, 303, which is probably pretty straightforward. 304, which is the Human Services Board, and the Administrative Fund, which is 305. I'm just gonna leave them
Yeah,
for now. I want to go back through them, but I think that certainly the boards, the councils are probably
yeah,
very close to being able to be closed, but
okay.
obviously I'm not going to do the global commitment.
No, that's one of our last ones because it's whatever the number is after we do everything else.
Yeah.
So in fact, I really think maybe we need to just skip human services altogether. Because there's a lot of work. Dave is doing a lot of work, Tiff's doing a lot of work, Lynn's doing a lot of work. I'm probably leaving somebody else out, but there's.
Plus, I'm expecting that some committees upstairs.
Yeah, we really want to hear what they have to say. Yeah.
But may I share one?
Yes.
Because I want people to tell me if it's, whether to let it go or not. In Dale, they have an up of $8.6 million for a contract to provide a federally mandated service, conflict-free case management.
Oh, yes, yeah,
In that 8.6 million, most of it are contracts. Some of it, 5 positions, is general fund, $600,000. When I met with them, with Human Services Committee representatives, I asked them how long they thought it would take to hire those positions. Because what they've done, they've budgeted them as though they would be filled July 1.
right,
They won't.
right.
So the deputy said, 3 to 6 months. The commissioner was quick to say, quicker than that, because she knew where I was headed.
Yeah,
And I told him I wanted to be transparent. So if we assume it takes 3 months to hire them, and there's 5 of them at 600,000, that's about 180,000 that I told him I wanted to divert for one-time consideration.
yes,
And next year, when they came back, they would have filled the positions.
exactly.
They'd need them for the full 12 months. So to me, 180,000 is nothing to sneeze at.
Not these days, let me tell you.
So I thought it was worth doing.
Yeah, when we have 180 million in requests that I, not so far, I'm not kidding, I have it spreadsheet. Yes.
Anyways, I didn't think,
Every
Yeah.
penny is gonna be appreciated, so that's great. And so, Dave, you're giving a very good example of digging into the budget a little bit more in the base, especially when there's new positions.
yeah,
If it's business as usual, there's no new positions, that's one thing. But if they're looking to have new positions,
there's
they're
no
ready to
way.
go July 1st.
A lot of them, I bet, I know they have a mind, they're budgeting them for the full 12 months.
Yeah.
It just won't happen.
So if you all can be responsible for digging into your areas and looking at those things. I've talked to Emily this morning about the fact that how we can understand better what's going on behind the scenes, because when you just get the ups and downs, that really doesn't tell you what's happening. Right? It tells you what the difference is from what they spent last year, but it doesn't tell us about the programs, if they're any good, if we should be looking at them again. So she and I talked very briefly this morning. And at some point she will come in and sort of go through some examples and show you on the JFO website. You can get into the Vantage reports and get into some of the details and how to look for the program. So it isn't just the salary, so that you can understand a little bit better. So Dave knows this area well and knows how this works. So it's a good reminder for all of us to think about that. Tip,
Totally different subject.
go ahead, new paragraph.
I am wondering, if we. So we have committee discussion scheduled for tomorrow and, I mean, throughout the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And there are some discussions that are happening in public committee that I'd like to listen to.
Yeah.
How disruptive is it for us to go different places?
At the moment, I wanted to get started on this. I'd like to get finished by the end of the week, at least going through it, even if we say open. But I also want to give you all time to either listen to committees or go and do your own work. So we can schedule in some free time. I don't know what's on the agenda for tomorrow, so that we can just say, we're going to break for 2 hours and you go off and do your thing, right? That would be helpful to people if we did that. Okay, so let me find you our agenda for tomorrow and we will modify as we can. We have done Farnham at 11. So what if you had tomorrow morning? Is that too fast? If we had tomorrow morning for you all we wouldn't meet as a committee until 11, would that give you some time? And there's some of you I want to talk through that stuff and you may want to talk to me and you want to talk to people. That would.
That would work, and then House said invite me tomorrow at 1.
Okay.
They have somebody.
Okay. Well, and if we're going through, we won't cover yours, obviously, and and then I can catch you up later. That won't be, I did forward you that email, by the way. All right, so tomorrow morning, we will meet as a committee at 11. Doug Farnham, who's coming to talk about municipal technical assistance, some FEMA buyout things. We came up with 4 things yesterday when the 3 of us met with JFO that we really need to hear about to help us make some decisions. So I would like everybody to be here for that at 5:00.
And we should start getting.
Yes. I don't know if we're going to first thing in the morning, but all hand in hand. We'll see. Okay, so does anybody have any other thoughts or questions?